So I've taken a day trip into Kingston with my dad because he had to go do a meeting at Canada Post to a customer, so he offered to drive me along. So I'm going to take you guys around my old campus, Kingston, Queen's University, show you the campus. If I get some time, I might head out to my old townhouse and go shopping down Princess Street. So I will show you guys where I went to school and everything. So this is Division Street. Dupuy Hall right here on my left was where I had some art history classes. If you look along here, there's some older buildings. That's right there, the engineering library. This right here is what remains of the J-Duck. It was being turned into the Queen's University Center. When I was just leaving, they were just breaking ground and starting construction. This building right here is Ontario Hall, at least the backside of Ontario Hall. This was my studio when I was here for the 3 years. The bottom windows right there are the print studios, where I was for the first half of my last year, and then the rest of the studios were for like painting and computers and things like that. So now I am now on University Avenue, which is the main street that goes right down the middle of campus. That right there is Stauffer Library. That's where I spent most of my time studying exams and researching art history papers. Right across the road here, that was, when I was here, had stained glass and was the principal's office, I believe. There's some other buildings there. And then this right here is Ontario Hall. This is where I spent most of my time doing all my artwork. Door down there, that was the basement. That was all the sculpture, wood shop, welding, and printmaking. Beautiful building. Interesting fact, it actually used to be the building for the mining studies when they had mining courses. And now the art students have taken it over. So a little further down the road, this is Ellis Hall. I had a lot of art history classes in here. Down all the way at the end of the street is actually the Kingston Hospital and the medical center for the students. I spent a lot of time there too, unfortunately. And then this right here is the famous Grand Hall. This is where convocation is. A large number of exams are written here. I had to write one of my final exams in there. And then this is where the graduation ceremonies were. So this used to be the rugby field when I was here. As you can see, it's being turned into a different field now. It was full and green when I was here in '09. But I guess they're revamping everything. So right across the road from the field, I'll turn around right here, so you can get some orientation. There's the field. There's Grant Hall. Ontario Hall is right next to Grant Hall down there. This was a little crossway I used to walk through to get to school because my residence is just down on the waterfront. And then this building in here behind the trees is the Agnes Etherington Art Center. This is where the art show, if I stayed for 4th year, the BFA Select was. It used to be for all art students, but when I went to graduate about the year before, I think, they changed the rules where they only wanted to select in a couple art history, fine art students. So a lucky few got to have their stuff shown at the actual gallery here. And then this building right here is also one of the residences and dining halls. For the life of me, I can't remember the name of it. As soon as I walk by, I'll say it. So it's Ben Re-Center that I forgot the name of. And then walking along here, this is the street I'd also walk to get to Ontario Hall sometimes. I'm walking right past the Agnes Etherington right now. The big round building up ahead is one of the science buildings. However, I had a night sociology class there in my very first year, which was actually really nice because it was the only night class I had, and it's literally just down the street from my residence where I lived, which was McNeil House. So I'm on the corner of Queens and Bader Lane. This is where I lived for the first year. That building right there, that's McNeil House. That was my residence. Got another residence there, Chernoff Hall, which I had an odd lecture or two at. And then one of the biggest residences on campus, Vic Hall. It's actually, there's a ton of construction going on out front right now, but this had the best kind of little convenience store cafeteria in the bottom of it that I went to a lot, especially when Kevin came to visit. Right in the basement on the main floor, really, kind of. And they had sandwiches and chips and sodas, and I spent a lot of my flex cash there. This residence right here is where one of my friends, Candace, stayed in her first year, and actually in the bottom of that building is the cafeteria that I used to go to all the time, since, well, that right there was my residence. It's weird. I come back here and I start walking the same path and it feels like I've never even left. And I graduated in '09, so it's been a couple years of having to put up with the crazy, busy, loud downtown Toronto core. It also feels weird being here in the summer because it's so dead and so quiet. So if I turn here, there's the lake. And there's the calf and the other residents. I'll walk right around the corner and I'll show you guys where my window was because I remember exactly which one it was. So this is Morris. This is the building right next to my residence on the water here. One of my classmates, Kim, stayed in that residence. And if I come around, I was pretty much the corner on the second floor. So if I can actually find it, yep, that window right there. That was me. And then that kind of curves, so there's a full-size window on the other side, but that was my window. Where I'd look out onto all of this little courtyard. You'd have a whole lot of like ultimate frisbee and stuff going on in the field there. And actually, there used to be, if it's still there, a volleyball court. These lucky people here in Brockington House and Donald Gordon House, they actually had, you can see right there, a little tunnel to get into the cafeteria, so they were always lucky in the winter. They never had to step outside to get food, which is good in Kingston because it's the black hole of all bad weather. It was snow or sleet or snow squalls or rain and thunderstorms. It's funny that I'm here and it's sunny because it was probably only sunny like 10 days out of the year. Made for very nice walks right down to the water, and I've always lived on the water, so I love the fact that my residence was right here. Yep, they still have the little beach volleyball court. So that's kind of all the main stops on campus, really, that I kind of spent a lot of the time at and everything. Showed you where some of my lecture halls were, my residence, the waterfront and everything. So I'm going to try and hightail it over to Princess Street, which is where I spent most of my time when Kevin was here, if it wasn't hanging out in my dorm room or going to the movies or anything like that. We'd walk up and down Princess Street every weekend he was here. So I'm going to hightail it over there and hopefully I can get some of that in before I have to head out. So this, if you walk along the waterfront from my campus, all along past the park and everything, you get to this boat launching dock and a little pier and everything. And me and Kevin in the summer and when the weather was nice, we walked down here every weekend. He was here because during the school year and there's not boats going in and out and the water's calm, that little area right here is flooded with ducks. Lots and lots and lots of ducks, and I have an obsession with ducks, so we'd always walk down here and they'd look at the ducks. I think I fed them once, but it always cheered me up to come down and play with the ducks. And that right there is a pump house museum. So this is the Marine Museum. Big buoy there. And through here is the Alexander Henry, which is one of the Coast Guard boats. One of my friends actually did an art piece on this boat. All the different rooms were divided up and you walk through and each room had a different story in it. This is also, at least when I was here, used to be used as a bed and breakfast, that you could stay in the rooms and have breakfast and everything like that. It's nice to see that it's painted. I'm pretty sure when I was here it wasn't painted up nice like this. I'm going kind of by memory. Me and Kev would walk down here again. This is one of the places that would come down every weekend while he was here. So now I'm down at City Hall, and on the weekends when I was in school, they'd have farmers market and things. As you can see right now, I'm here on a Tuesday, but it's farmers market because it's a Sunday, a summer day. So we've got maple syrup and flowers and vegetables, and my favorite bakery is actually just down here. So I might actually go buy a tart if I have the cash.